All right. Friday, November 7th, 2025. We're closing in on the end of the year. If you're anything like me, it comes like around to September 1st, and then the year just goes, whoop. Everything goes right down into Christmas. It's like a big slide. And for me, I'm like, I'm about to be 49. I honestly could care less about Christmas. I mean, I guess that's not true. I guess every other year I get excited about Christmas, but I've got two little girls, and God, these Christmases just keep getting more expensive every year. I mean, the excitement is just like out the door a little, when you start to look at how much money you have to spend on everything just for one morning when, oop, it's all over in a heartbeat, presents are torn up and ripped up in seconds. I digress. I've come in today with a really cool idea for a way to um, I'm looking to build an idea around tracking activity for politicians. I know it doesn't sound sexy, but hear me out. I've got a really cool idea around it. We'll walk through what this looks like here. So as usual, I'm going to dive in and I'm going to share my screen with you. And I have this, where is it? There we go. I don't know why that changed over there. I have this little Google sheet that I keep to the side just for me. I call it Company for One, and it's a way to me to kind of put all my ideas into a spreadsheet as I'm driving around. Believe it or not, in little confined areas like driving around, being in airplanes, being in the shower. It's like in areas where you are real confined, you don't have all your things with you. Sometimes you can't use your electronics. Or sometimes it's, like uncomfortable little areas. Confined spaces, where you're limited. That's where my best ideas pop out. Everyone's got theirs. Sometimes it's taking a walk for me too, because maybe I just have my phone with me. And then it's like, don't have every thing at your access, at your, at the ready. But I'm always drawing up notes. And they come back into this. This is something I've had kind of for about a year or so, just sitting in my phone. And I was like, hey, I had a bunch of just really large ideas coming into today. And I'm like, I need to, they're not fully formed yet. But then I looked at this sheet and this is the one that popped right out. I don't know why that screen just flickered there. This is the one that popped out on me, an activity tracker for politicians. And that's the one that I wanted to dive in on. So I started looking around. There's one called GovTrack, which sort of is doing what I want. Let me back up for a second. What I want is, and by the way, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, or if you're in the middle, if you're, Republican, if you're Democrat, or if you're independent, I don't care, right? What I care about is the idea that I've kind of stuck with me for a while is, you vote these guys or girls into office, right? And then, you're like, well, I see quotes from them every once in a while. I don't know. I saw them on Fox News or CNN the other day. I don't know. I heard about something that they're involved in, but unless you're looking really closely, unless you, really dive out there to, go and find it, you're not going to see it. You're just not going to see unless you're really like combing through hard on these sites, you're not going to see what they voted for. You're not going to see what they actually said online. You're not going to see what they said offline in the media. You're not going to, be able to see where they've traveled to, who they're meeting with. You're going to see what progress they've made on, what progress they've made on what they had campaigned on. You're not going to see, like activity in terms of the funds that they've raised. And all this stuff is sort of out there in public. The interesting part about the U.S. government, and that's what I'm focusing in on. I live here in Florida. What's interesting about the U.S. government in particular is most of this information is publicly available. It's free. but it's just scattered about, and it's hidden on sites that look like this, that are straight out of the 90s. Lots of text. It's just, it's just a bunch of bullshit. It's not easy to kind of get around in, and there's no easy to use mechanism here. I keep going. I look at congress.gov. This site makes my eyes bleed. This is straight out of the 90s. Absolutely horrible. I mean, oh, C-SPAN. I mean, there's a little bit here. I like the pictures. I like how you can sort of like take a deeper look at Congress. It says, okay, but it's not doing exactly what I'm looking for. It's doing some of it. And then this, I don't. Do you really want me to make fun of this site? Do you really want me to roast this? I mean, this is just horrible. So I came into ChatGPT and I'm like, hey, is there such a business app or website that tracks daily activity for politicians? In other words, a scorecard, a way to capture what they said online, in the media, offline, the bills they voted for, the funds that they've raised, all the things. Does this exist? Thought for a little bit, and it came back and it said, short answer, yes. There are several partial scorecards. No single public site captures everything about politicians every day. And that's what I'm striving for. I'm looking for a complete scorecard on a politician. What's interesting about this model is as I sit in it here for a few minutes and I start to talk it through with you live, starting to think that you could do this for CEOs of publicly traded companies. You could do this for you name it. Your local local union people. You could do it for. The ideas will come to me. You could do it for anybody that's out there in a public office, or who's in a celebrity position or an elevated position in the media. They're saying that they're going to do things, and this is the way to track them. This is what I like. But the one thing that really I keep coming back to is around politicians. I mean, it doesn't matter. You could think of Marco Rubio on the Republican side. You could think of Nancy Pelosi on the Democrat side. You could think of anybody here that's in a high public office. They've been voted in by me. They've been voted in by you. What are they doing on a day-to-day basis? Where are they? Who are they talking to? Are they making progress on things? What are they voting for? Again, I think it's really good to follow the money. Where's the money going? So, it gives me a couple of sites. It does lay out. Here's the way that you can look for votes and bills. Here are the different sites that you can look for from public statements in the media. Money and fundraising. Yes, scorecards, but again, not there. All-in-one paid dashboards. Quorum. I didn't see this. Let me pop into this one real quick while we're here. Federal legislative tracking and engagement platform. Building strong relationships. Find new champions and improve your policy regulation on Capitol Hill faster with AI. And that's the whole thing, what I'm looking for here. Let me back up. AI right now, the biggest advantage that you have with it is that it can take an incredible amount of data and an incredible amount of sources, look at it very fast, and bring you what you want. Click of a button, easy peasy, right? When you look at big media companies, what I'm looking to build is something that you would have a whole department of paid salaries to a ton of sort of grunt, lower level junior researchers and analysts. They would be going out here. They'd be looking at all sorts of video and capturing what people were saying offline and online. They'd be looking at all the different links and tracking their funding, all these different pieces. And then they're bubbling those up to a site, or they're bubbling them up to their reporters who are going right out in front of the TV or online, and they're talking about what their researchers pulled up for them. So they're holding some people accountable in different ways, but they're spinning a narrative. They're spinning a narrative to the Republican or the Democrat side. I'm just looking for real clean information. Did you do what you said? Where's the money going? what did you do for me today, right? This looks like get alerted of emerging developments in Congress. No. Committee hearing transcripts. No, I'd rather have AI do all that for me real quick. Social media dialogue. Yes. The AI powered policy analysis to instantly summarize. Okay, this is part of the way. What are they charging? Request pricing. See, roadblock. What's really interesting about this dynamic in this kind of AI era that we're in, and even this SaaS era we're in, software as a service, the last how many ever years, is that more and more sites are getting into this sort of like simplistic feel to it. You come into the site, you see up top, what problem am I solving? And then boom, right into subscribing, right? Or getting a trial. I see this as a news site, an app, it's a feed of information, but I also see it as a way to quickly sign right up, get me the free version, or give me the pro version, or give me a bigger version. And I'll talk through the models in a second. This looks like it's a solution provider. When you see request pricing, it's big. Policy and dialogue tracking, official and staffer directories. Directories is kind of interesting. AI build tracking. And this has part of it, but I'm not really seeing everything that is sort of like a easy turnkey site. And what I want to do here is I'm coming straight to you, whoever's watching this, with an idea for a business that you can start as a solopreneur using AI-powered tools. That's what this is about. So I came down here and I said, help me think through the business models. If I put together a business like this, I'm picturing a news site, a feed for this, pulling together multiple sources into one clean, easy to read, easy to analyze website or app. Okay, so I envision a number of feeds, X number of feeds for politicians in the US for free with limited information, surface and summaries, and partial linking to sources. So a free version that you can get. That's for kind of like a B2C play, business to consumer, right? That's a business to me. Give it to me for free. Give me minimum information on what Marco Rubio and Nancy Pelosi are doing today. Okay. Then I can see more of a pro account, full, rich details, massive data, dumps, and link to all sources. And I can add in more details here. Okay. So what it did is it gave me a couple of names, by the way. And where are the names? I want to just go through that really fast and just talk through that because I'm going to use that here moving forward. It gave me 5 short, unique names: Civic Card, Polafeed, Capital Log, RepTrack, and Ledger Gov. Then it said right here, this is where it got me. This is the kicker for me. If you want, I can sketch a sample daily card layout. Daily card, I stopped right on. That one had some punch for me. I don't know if dailycard.com is available. High probability that it's not, but I like the name. There might be a dailycard.co, dailycard.io, dailycard.ai available. Keep in mind, we're not going to hide from the fact with this, if we're going to build it, that this is an AI-powered news feed for you. And I think you should lead with that if you're going to run with this. So it gave me a whole bunch of stuff, and I said, look, I like both responses. Can you roll them into one? You ever worked with ChatGPT and it gives you an A or a B? Which response do you like better? Hard to see which one you like better because both of them have good things in them. I'm like, give me them both, roll them into one for me. Okay, here we go. So we went down, and again, it starts to talk about what exists today. We looked through some of these absolute atrocities of websites. Oh my God. I mean, my eyes are still bleeding. Can I get it off? Those sites are horrible. If you're looking around through there, the bad part about half of them is you go in, it makes you sign up for an account just to get in. It's horrible. I mean, we're talking like you're signing up for an account with like a 90s site here. Like the whole mechanism around it is just absolutely painful. Okay, so this is that's what's available to you. I'll skip right down through that. And here's the opportunity: a consumer level daily card platform. Now, make no mistake about it. Like, as we go through the options here, I'm picturing like a free account, a pro account, kind of for B to C, business to consumer play. Then I'm picturing a bigger one, an even bigger one that could be to replace some of the work that analysts and junior level researchers do inside organizations, right? Companies that don't have the time to be able to do all of this research, and they may grab a feed of this and have all the different politicians that they want into one nice feed, right? So that they can have a way to kind of keep track of everything. And there's a guy delivering something out here, and I think my dog is about to lose it here in a second. So just bear with me if that happens. Anybody got a dog at home when you're trying to perform, trying to go live, trying to record? It happens. We roll with it. We roll. So I like daily card. Here's what it could do. A daily card should show votes cast, bills sponsored or co-sponsored, loving it, committee hearings attended, press releases issued, notable public statements, social posts. I know I've seen some politicians. I don't follow a whole lot of them, but I know I've kind of come across social posts. I mean, not just from like Donald Trump. He's really big into using a bunch of different social media to put his big opinions out there, right? But I've also I've just noticed that a lot of politicians are using it. They're using it as their weapon. It's like they've weaponized social media, to put out their gripes, their disappointments, and all that. So it's that's their one big way to do it. In the past, 80s, 90s, they were looking for a camera to get in front of, because that was the only way that they could reach the masses. And then you had social media come in the early 2000s and just keep climbing. Media appearances, new fundraising disclosures, donor activity, moving on promises. This is all the things that I'm looking for, and probably even more. Every line should be a clickable source. No editorializing, no commentary, just receipts. Exactly. We're not trying to call out the Republicans aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, or, oh, I can't believe the Democrats did this today. Look at these 3 feeds from these 3 politicians. No, I mean, that's for you to decipher, right? That's for someone else to look at and say, hey, like they're not doing what they promised, or look what they're doing here. This is against the grain, against policy. No, I just want the feeds. And I can see it coming in an email play straight into my email, or you can have it as an app on your phone. It lights up when every morning or every afternoon when something new is happening, just like you get your, your email, like, or a voicemail comes in. It's like, it just keeps updating right there for you. That could be it, a straight feed, or it could be a summarizer. You could have those options to do what you want. I just want it every morning at 8 a.m. when I'm sipping on my tea or my coffee, or I want it at night when I'm having popcorn and before I'm going to bed. So I like these different things. So again, a public politician profile, a free tier, and they're just, GPT is giving me some options here saying, hey, you get 3 actions. You get to, pick, do I want to see the votes, the bill changes, different clips. I like this, a 7-day history and a scroll. Okay. Light summaries, funding summaries. Okay. Some links to some source materials, and you get to follow up to 5 politicians. Okay. I actually like a lot of that. I'd probably maybe, look at what I'd go further with this. I'd want to, keep expanding on the idea. What could I add? What could I subtract? What do I think is the best value? A/B test that. Okay, that's free. So as in no dollars. You can sign people right up. And then the best part about sites like this, when you get the free, every time you send out their updates, there's a constant reminder that there's more information there for them to have. So get them into the free, you get an X% of those people, whether it's, low single digits or, maybe even into, low double digit, subscribers that will come up into that inside of, 3 to 6 months or into a year. You start to upsell them, and they'll see that things are shaded out. They'll see a way to upgrade. They'll see the things that are incomplete or missing. They'll want it. Again, you're looking for convenience here, convenience in this particular this news app, this particular this particular model that you're going to be putting out for them. The pro account would be, they're saying 12 to 20 bucks. I'd actually say more like $9. I like the idea of a single digit subscription, $9, clean and easy. I think that's what I go with. Unlimited follows, full day timeline, custom alerts. I'd actually put this into the free version actually myself. Full funding. The word is full. You're getting the full feed versus just a summary or just partial. Receipts mode. That's cool. A single bundle of every link for the day. I like that. And then, of course, I think here's a comparison of two politicians side by side from both sides of the aisle. Hello, Marco. Hello, Nancy. Right against each other. That's pretty cool. And then the Teams account. I'm looking at this with you kind of in real time. I glanced at it. 99 a seat. Okay, that seems more likely to me. $9 and up into 99. This is more of a heavy, information play. I'm thinking like you get everything. There we go. And again, it's 4 newsrooms, policy analysts, advocacy orgs. There's so many people that are politicians in Washington, D.C. and in the different states, but D.C. in particular, that they run these think tanks. They go off to do consulting work. And having this on the side for a drop in a bucket for them, I mean, they're getting massive money to do these things, right? $100, a couple of subscription accounts for their staff, easy peasy. I think that there's really good money in this. I really do. And again, you have full features here, API access. I have to think through what that would kind of include. Not include, but how that would work. Saved dashboards, webhooks. Yeah. I don't know where the training and onboarding part could come from, but yeah, you're white labeling things for sure to some extent. God knows I'm not going to 5 different 90s based websites like GovTrack and all those other really old stale sites and combing around through all that small text and just goofy layouts. Clean layout, easy call to action, low price point, easy to understand what I'm getting, and then the clear value, boom. Build the data feed. Okay. Hang on one second. I want to see something here. If it didn't do it already for me. The name's okay. Give me the technologies you think I need to build this as a solopreneur. And based off those business models, what would be the expected MRR and ARR? So let's see how it does that. I want to know the tech behind this and how hard would this be for me to put this together. I also want to know, what's that monthly and then the annual on the different, the pro and then what's it called? The pro and then I think it was the team. Pro and then the teams. Yeah, pro and teams or pro enterprise. All right, so let's see what it came up with. Technology stack. Again, if you've used Claude, if you've used GPT, if you use Grok, there's a lot of these. GPT's the one that's kind of more mainstream. A lot of people still don't even understand or even have heard of Claude unless you're like in the X circles because they're using it for Claude Code. But these guys, these models will hallucinate. They'll go way off on the deep end sometimes, or sometimes you'll read it and you'll think it's fact because it's coming back and you just have to double check on some of this stuff. But a front end, a web plus app, you need a single code base that can produce a fast SEO friendly web app. Even before I go through all this, I actually feel like that you can do this without really building hard. I think that you could almost use a site you can build a clean, easy site for yourself. using like Framer or Webflow or even Page Cloud. And then as somebody subscribes to it, depends on what you're trying to give them, right? If you're going to go full bore and give them a dashboard, something they go into, yes. There's a lot of clicking and there's profiles and everything is right in there, then yes, you're going to need to develop it. But if it's more like sign up and then I'm going to feed you information, you just tell me, basically you click from a menu, tell me what you need. And that is a little easier because now you can use tools behind the scenes and you're just shooting them a message. You're shooting them an email. You're shooting them a glorified spreadsheet of things. Just depends. You can go real light on this or you can go a little heavier. But if you're going to do it right, you actually do need to kind of develop this out. You want a nice, clean, easy site, and then you want a nice back end. Once they sign up and they come in, nice dashboard or a nice menu that they can get into, and it's just a nice experience for them, right? Like think like going in when you if you go in and you subscribe to let's go into Mobbin. I had pulled that in here. Let's go into Mobbin in a minute. Let's look at some of the experiences of when you're going into some of these news sites. We'll go there in a minute. Next.js, it's a React framework. If you're familiar with all this, now you're doing you're doing some coding. So if you're not a coder, if you don't know how to get into some of these things, I'm happy to point you in the right direction. I'm also myself and my team can certainly try to help you with something like this. And then your friend is called YouTube and Google. There's a lot of ways to jump into this stuff, but it was a little daunting getting into like more of a getting into development. It's not like you're going to learn this overnight. There are a lot of vibe coding tools, as they would call them, like these AI building tools that help to kind of cut the curve. And I'd be happy to point you in the right direction on some things there. But you're going to need the front end, again, which is what you're actually seeing, which is the web and the app. And you're going to need the back end to hold all the information in, right? So the data. So Supabase is one that really became popular because it's now like on the back end of a lot of these vibe coding apps, but there's a lot of them. Data ingestion pipelines or crawlers. You're going to need crawlers, yes. And to some extent, I think that you're going to need some tools that will sort of piece together if this, then that. If a user is doing this, then they come to here, then they come to here, then they get this. Yeah. So as I'm going through it, maybe it's a little more involved than I thought. I really want this to be for a solopreneur. This is a solopreneur play for me. So you need short, neutral summaries. Again, recommended OpenAI or Claude for text summarization. Okay. Easy searching. And they're saying to use TypeSense or Algolia. Often payments. These are pretty standard things. And then hosting for it. And then, yeah, a little bit of work. Air came out of my tires just a little bit, if you can't tell. I love the idea. I think you can get this going inside of a couple of weeks or even a couple of days, bare bones, and then you can build it up from there. Build the use case, get the audience pulled in, and then, as an email feed to start, and then you can build it up from there. Maybe go free and $9 and then add on the enterprise package afterward with a phase 2. Let's talk about the MRR, the monthly recurring revenues, and the annual recurring revenues for the year and what these would look like. So scenario 1, it's a conservative growth. You get 10,000 free and 300 paid. We're looking at the paid here, 300 paid, and then a 2-3% conversion. Average paid plan of $12. I think the average paid plan I was saying would be about $9 is the way I would go with it. So a monthly is $3,600 and an annual is $43. But if you got under 9, you're going to have less. You'd go with less. So it's 300 paid. So side project to start, side hustle, if that's what this is. Build it up. I actually feel like there's just so many people online talking about politics. Even on my Facebook feed, it's heated. And if you're the one out there that's just like coming right into the middle, just talking to people all the time, and they see that you run this site called Daily Card, I mean, I guarantee you'll pick up a ton of free traffic off of that, a ton of free people. You just keep bubbling up stuff. I really feel like there's a major play to run to market with it as well. Scenario 2, moderate growth, 1,200 paid. You're looking at 240 ARR. But again, if you go at $9, you're looking at a little less, right? But yeah, good money. I mean, most people that are career pivoting or are looking to have a side income, an additional income, household income come in, anything north of 100,000 is really worth, getting out of bed for, right? I mean, in my mind, if you told me that I could make 100,000 off of this, I mean, this would even be something that I would like to start. I have my hands in a lot of pots right now, but I do this live feed because I want to give out good ideas to the public. Scenario 3 is strong growth. Maybe this is into like year 2 as you really kind of get the hang of it, how to kind of position and market it. Maybe you are into phase 2 of this and you're adding on different features. Talking about an ARR of 2 million here. That's 8,000 paid. And again, it could be where look at this, it's actually adding on the enterprise accounts, and the API access. Yeah. So it's a business to consumer and a business to business play all at one. I really see both. Business to consumer, that are selling it to me and you. A lot of us will be taking the free and thank you very much. The ones that are really more ambitious and $9 is not a big deal. Drop in a bucket. They're going to get some strong value out of it. So take the $9, get so many of those people, small conversion of those. And then as you get up into more of the media companies, the companies that are tracking politicians, the reporters, but I think the media companies are really big. And then, yeah, there you go. You got a Teams package for them. So I really like that. We go scenario 4, breakout success. Sure. 4 to 5 million. So really cool, right? And what I wanted to do is I'm like, well, what would this even look like? I'll be honest, I tried to come over into Framer and I didn't want to develop out a big site for this idea. I actually tried to use their wireframer and it just I don't like their AI on there right now. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Framer, but when you use their wireframer and you're like, basically like you're coming into this, you're like, oh wow, I want to develop just want to put an AI in and develop something real quick with it. You're better off going to Lovable or Replit, one of these other sites, and having them build together a fast and clean, easy, dirty, quick site for you. And it'll pop off of a prompt. It'll pop together a site for you in minutes. Framer just doesn't have that yet. It'll get there. So I come over to Mobbin as my backup because I really love Mobbin. I'm looking for inspiration. I'm like, what does this even look like to me? And I started to go through and I went through and I did a search and narrowed it down by news feeds because I see this is more of a news play, right? So I went into sites like this. I was in Substack, and if you're familiar with Mobbin is basically snapshots of how sites work. And it's used by designers and developers to get inspiration around, well, what does my idea look like? What are features on sites that I might be able to grab inspiration from these other major sites? And there's major sites out here. There's new sites that are gaining funding and popularity. There's a bunch of different things out here. There's everything from major brands and major Fortune 500 companies into small ones that are just emerging. So there's a bunch of interesting things out here. So here's Substack. A lot of you may be familiar with that by name. Gives you some of the screens. I want to go into the web. I want to see what this would look like here. I mean, yeah, and you're starting to look at what does this look like here? This is more like an inbox type look. If you're familiar with what it looks like in Substack, you click on the different ones, and then it gives you the feed over to the side. It kind of looks like high level instant messaging, or like iPhone messaging on your phone. Really, I don't know. Look through here, and I didn't see like kind of a layout that really like resonated with me in here. I go into Nextdoor. And what's interesting about Nextdoor is it does have a feed, and this kind of grabbed me because I started to think about this. You could almost put a tracker, you're doing a tracker for this, for Daily Card, based on the politicians, but you could almost have for every single item that comes up, where they voted, where did they speak to the press. It's almost pin it to a map, to a Google map, pin it to the map. So I can kind of literally track their activity. Where did they go? Where were they when they did it? It just kind of gives a nice visual feel for where did my guy or girl go today that I voted for. And then you can sort of see that you could sort of, put them into different envelopes or cards, daily card. So I grabbed a little inspiration off of that. I did like that look a little bit. Went into Peer List. I didn't like that at all. Let's go into Medium. Medium, again, is another pretty popular site for, kind of, they say read and write stories, but yeah, it's a way to kind of use it as a blog. I actually do like the kind of the clean look of this site here. This is a shit ton better than this. I mean, or this. Oh, this is the worst. It's the worst. But this, nice and clean. Nice and clean. You can see where it's like, hey, what do you do? What is it? And then a call to action, and then just a nice little, just a nice little graphical elements there. And then, down below, they say what's trending, but this is where it could be like, yeah, here's the clear-cut value, what you're getting for $9 a month. And then, yeah, this is the one page I think I looked at. No, let me go back here. There was one that I liked that I wanted to show you. It goes right here. Yeah. Can almost see it a little bit like this. You have a feed here on the left or the right of every new thing that's coming in, who the politician is and their name, timestamped, what it is that I'm looking at, more information about it that you can go ahead and click through, just a small preview of it, some sort of a graphical image, of what it is, and then some, a little bit of like metadata and tagging below it. And then up top, it could be your different politicians. Just click right through them, right? Or the topics. You could even, go on, right? And then off to the side will be another way to kind of sort, filter, and kind of search through it. You can almost see it being like that a little bit. I don't know if we want to do another one here real fast. It's Friday. I'm feeling in a good mood. Let's go down through maybe one more real quick here, and then we'll jump off. I'll jump in Reddit for a second. I feel like Reddit is just a mess. I do. I mean, I love me some Reddit, but it's just a mess in there. Let me see. Oh, did I go in Pocket? What is this? I was going into Reddit. No, I want to get out of this. I wanted to go into Reddit. Where is it? Oh, it's above it. We'll get there. All right. Yeah, like it's a graphical mess to me. Yeah, but you need some sort of a dashboard type feel, menu, and then what you get. But we come up with something better. I mean, look, if somebody really wanted to do this, I'd jump right in. I'd come up with, probably a number of real clean, easy, interfaces that you could have for this. So anyway, it's Friday. I've got a lot of really good ideas for next week. This is my first week going live. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Did them all, right? Really excited about all this. Again, I've got some really sharp ideas for next week. All of this is around helping solopreneurs and folks that are thinking, hey, I want to start a business. I'm a career transitioner. I've got ideas to build something, but this AI is so confusing, so technical. There's just so much of it. Trust me, I get confused. I think some of it's too technical, but I'm in the weeds. I'm using it every day. I'm using all the major tools to develop and design with. I'm helping solopreneurs realize their dreams. They're building extra income streams. They're building businesses for themselves. They're carving out new paths. If that's something you want to explore, I'm right here. Come talk to me. And until Monday, I'll see you in the next one.